Hello, my darlings. My name is Silva Dorkable. I'm your friendly monster waifu, and we are back to playing Cooking Companions. Last we left off, we had completed the first round of Cooking Companions and unlocked New Game Plus. How's it going, Mama? And the longer I sit on this screen, the weirder it gets. Both with audio and other things. That thing. But I actually watched a lore video that kind of went into some of the background of this, and it confirmed some of my suspicions because there was a very specific line in this game that I looked at and I was like, that's such a weird thing to say, like that has to apply to something, and it was for a specific lore character. So I'll be explaining that as we go. But for the most part, we're going to start New Game Plus. I have... Oh, no, that's not what I want. I have essentially been trying to get whatever... It's not what I want either. Whatever... Thank you. Thank you for that. Essentially, I am trying to get very specific unlockable memos and notes and things like that. So I'm going to be doing that during this game. This will probably be the last playthrough of this game for the foreseeable future until they come out with some DLC or something. But again, thank you, Dear Dream Studios, for the fact that you were nice enough to give me a key because I was so in love with this game. We're gonna do New Game Plus. Now, in New Game Plus, I don't think we can become full friendship with Mariah. This playthrough will have different dialogue events and decisions to make. Natalie, Gregor, and Karen will start with 3 hearts each. Use this opportunity to max out your relationships. We highly recommend you create a manual save file right now for this shorter playthrough. Okay, so we're going to save. Well, I meant, thank you. We're going to save on over here. There we go. Unfortunately, Mariah will not be available to max. Sorry. Thank you for playing Cooking Companions. We hope you enjoyed the experience. Oh, almost forgot. Jump scare mode activated. Just kidding. Feel someone approaching. Wake up. I said wake up. I feel like we already did this. Hey, no worries. Oh, you're so cute. I can't keep pretending anymore. Always Mary. How could I be? I was the last to die. You try to reply, but instead have a coughing fit. Cough harder. I can see your jugular vein pumping. Pick your last words carefully. Yeah? I don't believe you. Prove it by getting rid of Potato. Do that, we're even. Getting rid of Potato might be a fatal decision. Rena has bluffed before. Well, is Potato leaving the cabin? I don't know. I don't know. Yes, no. No, maybe. Yes. Fantastic. Follow through with this commitment and be social with others. Don't slide back into old habits. Okay, well, that wasn't horrifying at all. Oh, New Game Plus literally just starts out when Mariah leaves. Karen and Natalie, Gregor, I'll keep us alive. I promise. She's not. Everyone watches as Mariah leaves the cabin. The silence is deafening. Oh. Okay. After the three go to bed, you finally have an opportunity to use the bathroom. The candle blew out. You grasp blindly along the floor until you find a flashlight in the corner. The bathtub is filthy. You'll need more than a little elbow grease to get these stains out. You notice a note underneath the bathtub. May 4th, 1794. This notice shall serve as a summons to the Zekopane courthouse. You are being accused of the following crimes: public disturbance, foul language and demeanor, refusal to testify at previous court cases, refusal to agree to a search warrant of property. Your hearing is scheduled for October 20th. Failure to attend will result in your immediate arrest and penalties up to hanging. Sincerely, Judge Constanxel Luis. You take the court summons letter with you. I got a note. Okay. Let's see what else. Oh. Someone forgot to restock the toilet paper. Beyond disgusting. This is truly the scariest thing you've ever seen. With your interest waning, you decide to leave the... No! I want to look at more things! I found meat. Yeah, I did like Mariah. But we can go back and play original game and still get, like, stuff. Take a cutlet of meat and begin to cook it in the oven. You cooked meat. Where did you get that? You ignore Karen's question. What's that smell? Gregor finally gets off the couch. Where did you... The three are looking at you, salivating. You take the charred meat out of the oven, cut it into small cutlets. They immediately grab some off the plate, chewing ferociously. Do you have any more of this? You explain how the meat is stored securely, hidden so you can ration better this time. I understand. Thank you. Natalie runs to the bathroom, puking in the toilet. You can hear him sobbing for a few minutes. This taste is... Gregor wanders off, and Natalie returns looking choked up. I left you some of the meat. Don't fight this, Natalie. And Natalie takes a cutlet from the plate, turning his back to the group as he devours it. You can hear him crying. So yeah, this was Mariah, by the way. This was totally Mariah. We found her body and cut her up. Yeah. Finally, my focus is coming back. Going to read some of those books. Keep them occupied, okay? Right now they're eating Mariah, 100%. Karen leaves you with the men. Who do you want to talk to? Okay, so... Okay, I'm gonna save. I wonder if I can... You knock on the door first. Natalie? Thanks for checking in on me. You ask if he still feels sick. Not anymore. I think it was a mental thing. How's it going, Cuervo? Please don't tell me where the meat came from. The less known, the better. You nod. Thank you. You're sure Natalie will remember that. Your relationship is stronger. Oh, pad thai. You leave Natalie and go tidy up some parts of the kitchen. Hours pass. The meal gave everyone the perseverance to keep going. I totally see that strange face in the cupboard under the sink again. It's right there. The hunger is now permanent within them. Oh, there it goes. They're fine, but now. They're fine now, but soon they'll be begging for more. Already? We've waited long enough. What's for dinner? You calmly explain that you want to ration the meat better this time and there will be no dinner. Fine. I understand. I guess I'd rather eat tomorrow than more today. No arguments? Perfect. Everyone decides to call it an early night. You fall asleep instantly tonight. You have a strange dream. The river seems to be on fire, glowing eerily in the early morning light. A man on horseback is staring at you from the other side, blowing his nose into a handkerchief. A rickety bridge is the only way to reach him, so you decide to start crossing it. The bridge immediately sinks with your weight, causing the rotting wood of the post to crack. The wind pushes the bridge from side to side, frayed ropes creaking with each gust. As you reach the center, the man on horseback smiles at you. Raising a hand with the handkerchief, he brings it down in a violent motion, causing the bridge to disappear beneath your feet. As you fall into the river of flame, you can see the man on horseback galloping away. You wake in a cold sweat. So all of these dreams we're having are actually other stories of this mythical creature or figure, folklore figure, that this entire game is hinting at us being. You wake up to see Gregor looking out the window. He turns to you, not smiling. Take a look out the window. Do you notice anything? That ghost that just peeked around the window? The floodwaters have receded a bit, but everyone is still bound to the cabin. The trail used to be completely visitable, but now it's gone. Oh, hello. Good morning, big guy. I think we should have another piece of meat for breakfast. It's what she would have wanted. I think he's right. Please bring us more of the meat. You grab some of the meat from your secret hiding place. You cut it into squares, adding it to the boiling cauldron water. It will taste bland without any seasoning, but you need to serve it up right away. What's taking so long? Boil it faster. Looks almost done. Patience. It's finally finished. You serve the meat in bowls. Gregor drinks the broth first before swallowing the chunks whole, like a duck does when eating bread. Natalie creates ripples in the broth using a spoon. He isn't eating. I'm sorry about earlier, everyone. I don't know what overtook me. Mariah. And Natalie begins to weep. You look over at Karen. You didn't notice her even start to eat. There's just an empty bowl now. Karen's enjoying eating people a little too much. Karen is staring right at you. How much more meat is left? You explain how most of it has gone bad. I don't understand why we didn't store it in some place colder, but whatever. This is the last of it. Ugh. How could you be so careless again? You remember Karen's knife. You need to think fast. What the hell are we supposed to do now? Wait around again? The storm isn't ending. You clear your throat. And Natalie? Yes? I think tomorrow you should look for Mariah. Or forage for plants outside. I think you should go tomorrow, little guy. Nobody else can identify edible plants like you. Please, Natalie. You can swim back after a few hours. Gregor is right, Natalie. Maybe you'll find Mariah out there. I think Mariah's fine by herself. He still hasn't accepted what happened yet. She doesn't need anyone's help. But we need your help, Natalie. That's right, Natalie. Please help us. Let me sleep on it. Okay? No problem, little guy. Ugh. Can I seriously not max out my... Maybe I can max it out? I'm trying to max out my Natalie stuff before I go back and try to max out Gregor, but... You go to bed ravenous. Mariah. Something is approaching. Don't know why that startled me. Time to wake up. You ask Potato where the chompettes are. Cabbage, onion, raspberry, and bread? They've moved on. Just us now. Oh. The way it always should have been. Bitch. Your mind finally manages to forget everything that happened. You fall asleep again, still ravenous. I think we're alone now. Doesn't seem to be anyone around. You have a strange dream. You're walking down the steps when you trip and fall. You snap every bone on the way down, landing in the basement as a writhing pile of flesh and bones. The whispers surround you. Their laughter is ringing in your ears. You wake in a cold sweat. I don't know what that was. Something smells terrible in the living room. And Natalie puked in one of the corners. You leave it there, so the others will question his fortitude. Good morning. Good morning, little guy. Well, Natalie, what's your decision? I barely slept last night. Her whispers came through one of the holes in the floor. She kept telling me to come outside. We don't want to rush you, but one of us puked last night. So that's what that smell was. Natalie is playing dumb for the group. And Natalie, my patience is wearing thin. You have 1 hour to make a decision. Oh, thank you, Mama. Why so quickly? Because I'm not waiting any longer. You can see the glint of Karen's knife under her dress. Best to watch out for that knife. The group disperses. Tensions seem to be rising. You have 1 hour to kill. What do you want to do? Well, we're obviously going to go chat with Natalie. Because, I want to max out my heart. And Natalie looks pale. And thanks for coming over. Natalie seems comforted by your presence. Yay! My relationship is full. Gregor told me he's heard Mariah. I'm sure Karen isn't being honest with me. Have you checked out the basement door closely? Every so often, I can see her peeking out at me through the holes. I really don't want to drown outside. But at least I won't have to have her tormenting me anymore. You know what's in the basement, don't you? Natalie, I'm here for you. Thank you. Ah! Staying in this cabin is messing with my head. I feel so lost some days. When I was 6, my father asked me to put flowers on the grave of our dead dog. That dog was very special to him. Helped him find food during the war. When he came back injured, he brought the dog to meet my mother, who was pregnant with me. He truly loved that dog. I carried a vase filled with flowers with me to the forest and took a left when I should have gone right. I was lost for 1 full day, wandering through the forest, crying and panicked. I foolishly skipped breakfast that day, so I was desperate at this point. I tried to, but I couldn't recognize any plants to eat. So I tried eating some random plant I found in the woods, but I have chucked all of it. I was humiliated when I stumbled back to my house. I'll never forget my father running up worried, and I was still holding the vase with the flowers in it. My entire shirt stained with puke. After that experience, I studied obsessively my mother's collection of foraging books, so I would never starve in the wilderness again. Thank you for absolutely everything. You nod, calling everyone together for a meeting. Natalie? You okay, little guy? Natalie looks pale, like he's going to pass out. Natalie, have you made a decision? Yes. I'll help you all out. I promise. Thank you, Natalie. Big tears roll down Gregor's cheeks. I'll miss you, big guy. I'll miss you, little guy. Thank you, Natalie. I know this wasn't easy, but it's for the best. Literally, he's agreeing to go drown outside for the rest. Yeah. Karen? Yes? Gregor looks at you expectantly. Did you want to say anything to Natalie? You say nothing. It doesn't even give me a choice. Goodbye, Natalie. Goodbye, everyone. Good luck, little guy. Natalie has left the cabin. See you soon, little guy. I guess all we can do now is wait. Good night. Karen goes to the bedroom to sleep. I didn't tell him the truth. Gregor is getting choked up. I didn't tell him. I'm missing him already. Gregor curls up on the couch for the night, turning his back to you. You shut your eyes, quickly falling asleep. You hear scraping from the floor. The red-haired woman won't let him live, will she? Too ravenous at this point. The more she consumes, the stronger she gets. At what cost? Sometimes staying silent works better. Just walk away and pretend you're innocent later. What a terrible perspective Potato has provided. The Chompettes would never have listened to this crap. You fall asleep, thinking about what Potato told you. You have a strange dream. It's lying on the table in front of you. You take off the glasses first, partially cracked, and set them down next to the workbench. Working the saw, you wrap the cuts in old newspaper. Some of it gets soggy immediately, so you begin drying the cuts with a towel before wrapping. Much better. You hear something approaching, so you clench a fist and get ready to strike whatever's coming for you. You wake in a cold sweat. So that dream is actually not a dream. That is me sleepwalking and sleep butchering. You wake in a completely different place. Did you sleepwalk, or you found some meat? Everybody's still asleep. This would be a nice surprise after yesterday's events. You decide to cook breakfast for everyone. Cutting each slice fairly thin, you brown each side in the oven. The smell is unique. Kieran runs into the kitchen. What is that smell? Give it to me. Now. You don't argue. Karen grabs a cutlet, burning her hands before bringing it to her mouth. Ugh! She hungrily devours it, barely chewing. She grabs another cutlet off the plate and eats it. You thought she was concerned with rationing. Gregor wakes up from the couch and heads into the kitchen. Oh God. Already? Gregor looks conflicted, but he succumbs to the hunger. They always do. Gregor eats his food in a few bites, carefully grabbing a second cutlet. So if you notice, you as the main character know a lot about cannibalism and the hunger, as you call it. So we're suggesting that we are a serial cannibal or a folkloric creature who is capable of eating humans. The tears start streaming down his face, but he doesn't make a sound. You join them in the meal, quickly consuming the meat on the table. I can think straight again. We'll be out of here in no time. No need to ration anything now. Karen's sounding more determined than before. I'm going to lie down on the couch. Try to keep this food down. Gregor crawls onto the couch, turning his back to you. Karen leans in to whisper. I'm glad Mariah and Natalie are gone. They were stopping us from bonding properly. How did you get so good at it? You tell Karen. After one bite, it just made me feel whole again. Even with the nightmares, it's worth it. It took a few nights, but I fought back. And now that's all I can think about. I read the book on necropsy. The text is ancient, but the diagrams are beautifully drawn. Very descriptive. Okay, so we're going to save the game here because I want to load a game and go back and max out my stuff with Gregor. Hey, thanks for cooking the meat earlier. I was nearly passing out from the hunger pangs. Even if I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy, I appreciate the vegetarian dishes you made earlier. You really respected Mariah's boundaries. Thank you. Gregor is more dense than you gave him credit for. If there's extras, slip me some extra meat. Okay? Gregor will remember that. Going to see how Natalie is doing. Later. You have the bedroom all to yourself. Ooh. Where do you want to check first? Inside the birdcage. There's nothing in the birdcage. It's completely empty. The bottom of the birdcage is completely... Did a bird ever even go in here? No bird droppings or anything. You can tell from the outside of the cage that it's completely empty, right? You observe the cage is quite large. Maybe this isn't meant for birds? You look a little closer. You can make out an E, but the letter to the left of it is scratched out. This clue seems worthless. The drawer has various children's toys in it. What's this? Oh. June 26th, 1862. Another body of a child has been discovered within the city of Zakopane, with the remains stuffed into a barrel full of potatoes. The cause of death was identical to earlier victims, with significant blood loss due to multiple stab wounds to the stomach. The marks of the fourth victim are... Oh, this marks the fourth victim by the butcher of Zakopane in less than a month. Take the bloody newspaper with you. Oh, no, no, oh. Hey, Mariah's back in the cupboard. Hours pass. The meal gave everyone the perseverance to keep going. The hunger is now permanent within them. They're fine now, but soon they'll be begging for more. Oh, shoot, Natalie's back here. We waited long enough. What's for dinner? You calmly explain that you want to ration the meat this time. Fine. No arguments. Perfect. Everyone decides to call it an early night. Okay, so, that being said, I think, yep, we already had the stream, so we can pass through this. So, there's also a design of one of the characters, which is actually Karen, that is supposed to be a hint to who you are, because she is designed after a folkloric character that interacts with you as a folkloric character. You wake up to see Gregor. Yep, we already... Bloop, bloop, bloop. Yes. Okay. Yep. Blah, 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 blah. No more meat left. Natalie needs to go. It's kind of fucked up because, like, literally they just ate. And they're just like, you. Go drown. Potato? So you notice how the killer of Zakopane stuffed someone into a barrel of potatoes? They've moved on. Just us now. Yep. Okay, we're gonna go talk with Gregor now. Hey, I'm a little worried about Natalie. The flood currents are really strong. Once Karen makes up her mind on something, it has to happen. I definitely won't debate her on it. Have you seen that knife she carries around? I don't know where she got it, but she had it on her at all times. Do you think it's for self-defense, or... You interrupt Gregor. Cooking? Yeah. I mean, she hasn't cooked anything here, but... Gregor continues to babble incoherently. You feign concern and nod politely. Whoops. He noticed you weren't actively listening to him. Yeah. Just stand up to her when the time comes. All right? Gregor smiles a little bit. You're sure he'll remember that? I know you'll do the right thing. Thanks. You decide to call everyone together for a meeting. Okay. Okay, bye. Bye, Natalie. Okay. Potato? Potato. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Okay, back we are. We found some meat. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're gonna get to the point where Karen is once again being like, oh, I noticed that you know how to carve up bodies really well. Yep. Bup, 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 bup. Very descriptive. How many years did it take you to perfect the craft? You tell her. Yeah, right. So she doesn't believe how long I've been doing this, which again makes me think I'm immortal. I used to tell Mariah that you weren't funny, but that's not true. Sorry about that. You've grown on me. Karen pauses deep in thought. You know Gregor can't swim, right? He'd be next to leave. But he doesn't stand a chance outside. They always seem to come back, right? In one way or another. Why wait for him to come back? Karen hands you a vial of liquid. I think you know what needs to be done. This is a strong anesthetic. Don't ask me how I found it. I want you to slip this into Gregor's mouth tonight. This is for the best. He won't feel any pain until he wakes up. All you have to do is stand back and let me work on him. This request is beyond extreme. Will you do this for me? No. Fine. Save that for a rainy day. I have everything set up on the couch. You don't have to watch. The restraints should be easy enough to apply myself. Gregor's strength is a farce. Gregor, hi! Oh. Oh my god. This will be over soon, Gregor. Oh god. Wake up, sleepyhead. So you were having a nightmare. Still having a nightmare. Gregor is waiting for you. Get out of bed. You were the only person that didn't laugh at me for being afraid of a marmot. When I was 9, a friend of mine were playing in the woods. We were far from home, about an hour away. My friend found some baby marmots, probably only a few weeks old. He was so busy playing with them, he didn't notice the boar mother and piglet behind him. The boar thought he was too close to its child, so it ended up goring him in the lung with one of her tusks. The wheezing, those shortened breaths. He was gasping for air as his lungs filled with blood, and there was nothing I could do to stop the bleeding. It took me an entire day to carry the body back to the house. I was so weak. I had to take breaks every few minutes. When I arrived at his parents' house, it was completely pitch black out. My hands shook as I laid his body at the door. I was almost as cold as he was. When his mother finally opened the door, I will never forget that scream as long as I live. I never wanted to let anyone down again with my weakness. Ever. So I pushed myself to the breaking point as a teenager, getting stronger every week. I should have never left Ukraine. Gregor looks like he's about to cry. Thank you. Gregor? Oh! Well, hello, Satan. I think he's trying to speak. What is it, Gregor? You tell Karen that Gregor has died. He hasn't spoiled yet. Let me show you the rest of him. Karen shuffles over to the basement door, opening the lock with the knife. Didn't know you could do that. Why wait until she's in the basement? Take back the knife and end her life. You explain how difficult it is to get blood out of wood. Your laziness is unbelievable. The minute those 4 entered the cabin, you should have killed all of them. You're getting soft. You nurse a weakened butcher back to health. What if she ends up killing you now? I brought you the key. When she goes downstairs, lock the door behind her with that deadbolt. Then let her rot. Karen, Potato, might have made great allies in another life. You need to stop her before it's too late. You walk over to the basement door. Where's Karen? Oh! Oh! This bitch is crazy. When are you fixing this hole? You can feel her breath coming through the crack in the door. You locked the basement door! What the hell are you doing? Goodbye, Karen. She slips into the darkness. You climb onto the couch to rest, waiting for the basement noises to become silent. By the way, there's a new one, Blue Raspberry. It's not as good as Fuji Apple, but it's still pretty good. Mariah was correct. It's freezing over here. The frigid air swirls visibly in front of you. The basement noises have completely stopped. What do you want to do? We're going to save the game. Then we're going to load the game. We're going to talk to neither of them. You ignore Karen's request to keep them occupied. You'll be busy soon enough in the basement. Let it play out. Oh, hello, Mariah. I see you down there. Hours pass. The meal gave everyone the perseverance to keep going. The hunger is now permanent within them. They're fine now, but soon they'll be aching for more. We wait. You have a strange dream. Can I just? Oh, that doesn't help me. Serial killer versus a serial killer? Well, I mean, there was technically Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which was a spy versus a spy. I mean, that was pretty accurate. Yeah, Gregor, I know. I see it. I see all of it. I've seen it. You can actually save Mariah. We saved Mariah in the additional thing where you can go back in time and save her. Where she says that very particular line that made me very curious on who we were, because it was the right answer, which was, I come here 75% of my own free will and 65% by compulsion, which, first off, is not a 100% equivalent, and secondly, is very specific and strange to say that it was the right answer. So I Googled it, and I got some very interesting stuff. Time to wake up. Yep. We're alone now again. Yeah, I should probably read the dream in, a non-singing way. Your mind fully manages to forget everything that happened. You fall asleep again, still ravenous. Oh, well, that was easy. You have a strange dream. You're walking down the steps when you trip and fall. You snap every bone on the way down, landing in the basement as a writhing pile of flesh and bones. The whispers surround you, their laughter ringing in your ears. You wake in a cold sweat. Something smells terrible. Oh yeah, I already. Morning, 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 morning. There we go. Okay. We're gonna go talk with Karen. We're also going to save it. Hi. Keep this between us. I'm not giving Natalie a choice today. He's going outside. Do I make myself clear? What happens if I say this? Excuse me? You remember Karen has the knife hidden on her. He doesn't get a choice in this anymore. Neither do you. You can tell she means business. Is that clear? I literally can't say anything. Yes, Karen. Of course, Karen. Absolutely, Karen. Good. The time comes. You just need to shut your mouth and not say anything. Understood? No talking. This will be the easiest request you've ever completed. You nod. Excellent. Now get everyone together for a meeting. and let's get him to leave. Okay. Well, I'm going to go back anyway, because I want to know what happens if I just, you know, agree with her. This. Yes. Where's Karen? Yeah, I know. I know. Yes. Good. Oh. Karen cracked a smile. There we go. Looks like Karen will remember that. We're going to be best friends. Now get everyone together. Yep. He's going to be pale, and he's going to be sad, and he's going to go outside, and he's going to be like, oh no. Oh no, no. It's so sad. Oh, goodbye. We're going to be eating you in a minute. Well, that explains why I say nothing. Because even though I hadn't had that conversation, I literally, like, it doesn't give me the choice to say anything. So maybe it's because Karen is forcing us not to say anything. Yep, so we're cutting up Natalie. So for the record, the video I watched that kind of gave you some insight into the lore of this actually coincides with a real life event that happened in, I believe, the 1800s, which was, no, 1900s. 1900s, which is really messed up. You wake in a complete, oh yeah. But, yeah, so it's actually ironic that, like, this is going on while there's, like, the whole Ukraine issue. But Ukraine's not really, a stranger to really messed up stuff happening. And this actually highlights some really bad stuff that happened in the fact that they fled from it to find food. So we're going to save this again. Why don't you do it? I need to psych myself up for what's next. This is my first time, and I want it to be perfect. Yes? I knew you would. Thank you. She's learning quickly. Well, there is war. Well, there was war. But specifically, me as the main character, I am not necessarily particularly cannibal as much as I am an immortal being that eats people. Which is I think a Slavic folklore character, which I actually find very interesting. By the way, there's a cauldron right there. That's also kind of important. Gregor, it's been a while since you've had some water. Come drink with us. Gregor looks frightened. I can't stop thinking about the little guy. I can't even remember what happened before we arrived. It just never ends. I miss Natalie and Mariah. Let us toast to a Natalie and Mariah. They'll always be inside of us, Gregor. Can't change that now. Gregor begins to weep. You're right. We're having it raw tonight, Greg. Why does that sound so wrong out of context? We're having it raw tonight, Gregor. What? Eating raw meat is one of life's great gambles. Get awfully sick, or? Gregor slowly puts the meat into his mouth, ignoring the smell. He swallows each bite with a wince on his face. Ugh. Try not to get sick. I'll never forget the first time I met Natalie. There you go, Data! You got it! We're supposed to be Baba Yaga. We were kids. I was chopping firewood outside the house, and Natalie brought over a butterfly net filled with them. He introduced himself and asked me if I wanted to hold one of the butterflies. I'd never held one before. He told me not to crush it between my large paws. He did have miniature hands himself, so I get it. And and Karen, what did you put in this water? Would you do anything to save your friends, Gregor? Of course. Gregor's eyes start to droop. What the hell was Karen's liquid? I think it's best to have an early bedtime tonight. Let me help you onto the couch, Gregor. Oh, it's so messed up. Yeah. Thank you, Karen. Gregor passed out cold. Thank you. I'll do the rest. Even if he screams, please ignore Gregor while he wakes up. Okay? You don't want to interrupt Karen with this. You leave her alone, going to bed and crawling to the bed Natalie slept in. Well, I mean, at least he didn't have any pain this time. Or fear. Till he wakes up. Hello again, bride of Satan. Apparently he's just already dead. Well, shit. At least in that case, he didn't have to suffer at all. He just went to sleep. I wouldn't mind that. I think he's trying to speak. Tell Karen Gregors that he hasn't spoiled yet. Let me show you the rest of him. So, we actually see the house. And you can't see chicken legs on the house. But during the version, or during the playthrough where we're children, they mention finding a fence specifically made out of bones of people. And that's another thing from a story of Baba Yaga. Not only that, but Karen, her outfit is specifically designed after a character who encounters Baba Yaga in Slavic folktale. And the dreams that happen actually have coincided with stories about Baba Yaga, such as a blacksmith taking out her eye, or her being shoved into a oven. Okay. Okay. And so we already know that raspberry, cabbage, onion, and bread are all the children. But what we don't know is who Potato is. But who was it that was with all four of the children? The only other person who was with all four of the children that showed up. Oh, God. You locked the basement door. Dink. What the hell are you doing? Goodbye, Karen. So, Potato, from my understanding, with all the research I've done, essentially, you are Baba Yaga. This is your cabin. This has been your cabin for a long time. The children find your cabin. They're being hunted by the Butcher of Zakopane, who is essentially a grown man who likes killing children. The Butcher breaks in and corners them. You, Baba Yaga, arrive and kill all of them, which is why all of them ended up turning into a vegetable. When you say it like that, it's a little weird. But Potato is essentially the Butcher of Zakopane, the one who left you the note saying that he wanted you to teach him how to do what you did. because he had a feeling he knew what you were. Also, that staff specifically is something that Baba Yaga often carries. I don't remember. I think it was this one. I don't think Hansel and Gretel is a story based on Baba Yaga, but I think that there is another story of Baba Yaga trying to eat a young boy by cooking him alive in an oven, and the boy actually tricks her into showing him how to get into the oven. Let's look under the couch. It's cobwebs. Thankfully, no spiders. Let's get under here. It's weird. No ports anywhere near here. Raziel. There's various books on a wide variety of topics. No time to read them now, though. Take closer. Cooking, herbalism, skinning. Books that are good for surviving in the wilderness. Carpentry, metalworking, tailoring. Books that are good for crafting in the wilderness. Wasting time reading books. You were just browsing. Sure. Why not read this one? Tato nudges one of the books. The edges of the pages are a little singed. This was saved from a book burning. I wonder why. One may in truth proceed against such a man as against a person who is gravely suspect, but he is not to be condemned in his absence and without hearing. And yet the suspicion may be very grave, and we cannot refrain from suspecting these people, for their frivolous assertions do certainly seem to affect the purity of the faith. For there are three kinds of suspicion: a light suspicion, a serious suspicion, and a grave suspicion. Take the singed book with you. I'd say your entire life has been a grave suspicion. It's a shame you never went to trial for anything. That would never happen. Carrying around a book would be a burden, so you put it back. The rest of the books are boring. You decide to have a quick lunch at the table. She escaped. You wake in a cold sweat. Wake up, sleepyhead. Oh, you're even creepier now. You're having a nightmare. Oh, wow. The sheets are completely soaked. Are you wetting the bed? Feel underneath you. Gross. You must have broken a fever because the sweat is everywhere. Don't worry. We can wash them in the basement. Just unlock the door and we'll make a day of it. You're not that slow with laundry. Come with me. I have something to show you. You cautiously get up, following Karen out of the bedroom. No, maybe Hansel and Gretel will. Basement door is already open. I'm hungry. Let's get something from the basement. You feel the cold presence of Karen behind you. Goodbye. Stop. Grab onto the railing. You do so, feeling a slight push on your back. You feel the presence leave. That was a close one. Karen will try everything in her power to kill you. Tread cautiously downstairs. Why are you helping me, Potato? Because I pity what you've become. Ouch. You work your way down to the bottom of the stairs. Something is approaching. Oh. Can you hear me? I've been down here the entire time. It's so good to see you again. There's plenty of bread down here. Why aren't you saying anything? I'll never forgive you for what you did. You put an Natalie through hell. You desecrated my corpse. You gave them that disgusting hunger. All of that is water under the bridge now. And Natalie's down here. Come have some bread with us. They always trade things like this. So this also suggests that you've had series of like killing people and having the ghosts come back. For those of you wondering why Mariah and Natalie, Gregor, and eventually Karen are not vegetables like the chompettes, it's because, well, I don't know about Karen, but now I think about it, Gregor technically, well, I think it's because they didn't die in the cabin by your hand. Mariah and Gregor, Mariah and a Natalie drowned outside. Gregor was killed by Karen. Their anger, concentrated near their grave, leads to tricks and traps. You're not falling for this one. Why aren't you listening to me? There's bread down here, loaves of it. Fine. I won't stop you from finding the others down here. One piece of advice: beware of Karen. She is ill beyond repair. Gregor will try to talk you out of reaching the room, and Natalie will try to talk you into leaving the cabin, and Karen will rip the flesh from your bones. We'll talk again. You feel Mariah leave the staircase and go deeper into the abyss. The walls down here, they're dirt and soot. Something is approaching. So we had a nightmare, but then we woke up and Karen was next to us and led us to the basement, but the door was already open. So did she get out? I'm glad I found you. The rain outside has stopped. Did you hear that knocking? Another trap. Everyone's upstairs and wants to leave. Mariah was worried sick about you. You tell Gregor about speaking with Mariah. Guess I can't lie to you, huh? You just stood there while Karen took my limbs, doing nothing. Are you frightened by her? If you won't come upstairs with me, please turn on the light when you reach the room. I want to see the look on your face when that light bulb turns on. Can you do that for me? You nod. Thank you. Thanks for letting me lick the bowls clean. That was enough to keep him at bay. We'll meet again soon. Beware, Karen. I feel like her being called Karen is just... You feel Gregor leaving the staircase. You descend deeper into the abyss. The air pressure down here feels greater. You're getting closer to Karen with each step. Wait, but she was behind me. Something is approaching. Oh, thought you'd still be fending off that glutton Gregor right now. You tell Natalie about meeting with Gregor. Oh, I was going to try to see if you wanted to pick onions with me. You shake your head. Guess there's no fooling you, huh? You survived this long, and now you'll need to fend off Karen. I can't tell if I'd rather have you or her sticking around down here. You ask Natalie where Karen is. Oh, she's just below us, waiting to devour you. Karen's been practicing on her butchering again. Maybe she'll start with your arms? Down here, the whispers have told me about you. I can't even believe some of the things you've done. Worse than any war crime. So many whispers about those sorts of things. So many whispers down here. It ends at the bottom. Karen might be alive down here, but you won't be. See you again soon. You feel Natalie leaving the staircase. You grit your teeth and keep going. Your feet finally hit solid ground on the basement. Something doesn't feel right. You feel the wall blindly and locate a light switch. Found you. Karen's grown stronger. Oh, Karen's grown stronger than you as of late. Consuming her friends has imbued her with rage. She's lost in the abyss, and nothing but death can end this madness. I've hoped you prepared for what comes next. You can feel something creeping up in front of you.
Hello!
Hey! Cabbage, what are you?
Cabbage! Cabbage!
It took us forever to move the rubble you put in the mouse holes. Chompettes,
Hello!
come out. So they weren't gone. Because I remember them asking, like, hey, will you let us move on? And you're like, no, I'm not going to let you move on. So, like, they can't move on without you saying that. Also, I'm guessing cornbread is Raziel?
Hey!
Sometimes Mary. Raspberry. What lie did you tell them, Potato? That you had moved on? Will you let us go? You shake your head. Someday, maybe. Chompettes.
Cabbage! Cabbage!
We can't allow Karen to take over the cabin. She's much worse than you. So, this makes it seem like if Karen dies, or if Karen kills us, that she will become the new Baba Yaga. See what she did to Gregor? Unhinged. She's a cut above you right now. You don't need our help with this. Just remember what she's done. Channel that anger. She's just like Potato now, right? I'm still here, Cabbage. And as punishment for earlier, we're locking you in the room again, Potato. No chompette trial needed. You got company down here, Potato. One of us should hide the key. That's enough. No need to twist the knife. Good luck. Chompettes, let's help out. The Chompettes get in position behind you, ready for what's next. You feel around the wall blindly to locate the light switch. Found you. No, she's normal again. Let's end this. So again, super old wrinkly hands. Oh hey, you let the knife drop to the floor, holding Karen in a loving embrace. All of your pain, sorrow, and regret vanish into thin air. It was Karen all along. Your soulmate has finally been found. You create a new life together, devouring hundreds of men, women, and children. Laws and governments are powerless to stop your wrath. All that oppose perish. You work together beautifully, making the world a terrible place for future generations. One day, Karen becomes ill. She calls you over to her deathbed, between gasps for air. Her eyes are filled with terror, but it lessens once she sees you. Karen tries to say your name, but can't get it out. I love you. You nod, crying softly as she tightly grips your hand in fear. Your tears fall on her dress as the last of Karen's air leaves her lungs. Her hand slowly lets go of yours, dropping to her side. You take that knife and wrap her hands around it, putting it in the middle of her chest. Karen. I didn't expect this. You were a true cooking companion. I'll tell you a story, but do you promise not to laugh? I almost died when I was 6. It was probably the coldest winter on record. My parents and I were snowed in. At first, they had enough wood, but that ran out. My father, Before their wedding day, he chopped down one of the biggest trees in the forest. He spent months whittling it down, cutting the pieces carefully, measuring the armrests so they fit perfectly, sanding it down so not even a splinter could come out. He named it Mother's Chair. And every Saturday, he washed her feet while she sat in it, whistling a tune his grandmother taught him, looking deep into her eyes as he rubbed her ankles. It took up weeks of working on it in secret. He was hyperventilating when he dismantled it. Each heavy breath was a foggy cloud. His tears were freezing to his cheeks. The fire only lasted 2 days. And later the frostbite turned his fingertips completely black. He cried almost as hard over his fingers as he did the chair. After a while, when the food was running out, he began to search every inch of our cabin. But he finally found what he was looking for. A little mouse. Holding it, wiggling in his hands must have been painful. Between wincing, he divided it in two. One piece for me, and one for my mother. How's that for a big breakfast? His corpse was the first I ever saw that was frozen solid. Thank you for listening.
Cabbage.
Look, he's trying to speak. Don't be shy.
Cabbage.
Try again. Might take a few more days. Welcome to the Chompette's turnip. So, Karen turned into a turnip. So, if I kill someone, they turn into a vegetable. I thought I already did Chompette's origins. So if I kill someone, they turn into a vegetable. That's why Karen turned into a turnip. But if someone dies from another reason, even if it's in the cabin, they don't turn into a vegetable. Huh. Well, wonder what we got. Did we get any extras? Extras? No, we still need these. Oh, I got this. This wasn't mine before. Oh yeah, she was gonna be called Kate and Gary. Yeah, see, this is our house. And honestly, like, there could be chicken legs under there. Oh, different versions. That's nice and horrifying. I could see why they wouldn't use that as the I could see why they wouldn't use that as the actual logo, because it kind of gives away everything. Oh shit, I killed her. Well, perhaps I will try, perhaps I'll try, you know, eventually to get the last bits, but I kind of think that for the most part, that is probably as far as I'm going to be going on stream. Again, I absolutely loved this game. I am super happy I was able to get as much time through it as I was, and experience various different endings. Um, yes, even you, Mariah. Uh, but overall, like, I would heavily suggest this if anyone enjoys, like, corpse party horror visual novels. Um, but yeah, super happy to have played this game. I actually didn't expect much because it doesn't really, you know, it's grossly underrated, like underplayed in general. But no, definitely good game. Good story writing, good game. The event, for the record, that this coincides with is, I believe it was called uh, Holodomor, and it was essentially when Ukraine was being denied rations by, I think, Stalin, if I'm not mistaken. And soldiers came in and pretty much took anything that was edible, including pets, and starved them out. Literally, like, made them starve to death. And it was to the point that, like, parents would toss out their children because they were they were dying and they couldn't support them, and you know. Anyway, with that being said, I hope all of you have a wonderful evening, and I will see you on the next stream. Love you, darlings.